Hey guys, TikTok Sully here, or just Sully, back with another video, and today I'm bringing you guys a video on rappers who walk the catwalk. Designers have been pulling stars and celebrities to walk their shows for a while now, but with rappers becoming the new rock stars, it seems like they've become the #1 choice for designers when wanting to add shock value to their shows. So let's take a look at the rappers who have walked the fashion runway over the past decade. In 2013, A$AP Rocky closed Hood by Years for a winter show, and this was at a time when he had close relations to the punk brand. Rocky was actually seen wearing Hood by Year regularly at this time, so it wasn't a total surprise that they got him to walk the show, and it was more surprising that they let a rapper up on the catwalk, as it hadn't been seen often, especially from this new generation. Sadly, by the end of 2014, Rocky had decided he was off Hood by Year and disassociated himself with the brand in his single Multiply.
Fuck with a nigga like me. Yeah. RIP my nigga Pimp C. HBA shit is weak, you keep that. I'm a trendsetter, you ain't even peep that.
Next, we had Danny Brown, who walked Mark McNary's Spring Summer 2013 show, which was entitled McNasty. And with Danny Brown also having this type of nasty persona at the time as well, he fit the runway really well. He ended up closing the show with a gold suit and a cowboy hat, which both reflected him as well as the show. Next, we had Pusha T, who closed out Mark McNary's Spring Summer 14 show. Pusha was seen modeling a grey graphic tee matched with some camouflage cargo pants and some leather trucker boots to give this formal show a hint of street. And to give it his own personal touch, he also paired it with a snapback. Dipset rapper Cameron was also in attendance in support of Mark McNary as well as Pusha, which launches us into our next rapper who walked the catwalk, being Cameron. By the next McNary show, Cameron took center stage to walk with the American designer. This one made more sense as this was a show for collaboration between the two, as Killer Cam was hoping to make killer capes a new trend as he walked down the runway with one that was made up of luxurious materials. It also had Dipset printed on the back to commemorate the collaboration, and not only that, he also had the support of his fellow Dipset member in attendance, being Jim Jones. Following this, for the third show in a row, Mark McNary also got another rapper to walk his catwalk, this time by going back to the new generation again and getting Travis Scott to walk his Spring Summer 15 show. This one was probably my favourite out of the McNary shows, as the Flame had a chance to show off two looks during this show, and for both of them, he ended up skipping down the runway, which definitely added a sense of humour to the show. And with Travis being the playful character that he is, he didn't just stop there, because for the show's finale, he started it off by acting normal and leading the catwalk, but by the time we got round to the end, we saw Travis hanging off the back of the designer in a way of congratulating him, whilst of course adding another unconventional element to the show to make it that much more memorable. Moving on now, we had Skepta, who walked for Nazir Mazhar in 2015. This was at a time when Skepta had begun broadening his horizons, and not only was fashion and music growing closer together, but UK grime and US hip hop was also growing closer together. And with Skepta being at the forefront of it all, he and the independent designer had decided to collaborate on a blacked out jacket for the brand. This worked perfectly for the time because it encapsulated the UK's roadman aesthetic, which was beginning to be adapted by others outside of the UK. In 2016, Machine Gun Kelly had a chance to walk for Joshua Kane. With MGK slim and tall build, this one made sense for him to appear on the catwalk. And not only that, the collection was also a reflection of punk formal wear, which not only reflected of MGK's music, but also of his style. So it was another great example of how music and fashion coincides. The next rappers to hit the catwalk came in the form of a trio from the ostentatious designer Philipp Plein and his self-entitled brand. In 2017, the German designer showcased 30 Wap, Young Thug and designer to walk his Fall Winter 17 runway, and this wasn't that much of a surprise because out of all the designers mentioned, Philipp Plein would be the most inclined to let rappers walk his runway. I mean, the brand's aesthetic is one that is extra, excessive and extravagant, so throwing some rappers into the mix was something that would only complement the brand image, and this is something that Plein is in touch with in regards to the brand image. So again, for his Spring Summer 18 ready to wear collection, he brought some more rappers along for the ride. This time it was 21 Savage, Metro Boomin, Rich the Kid, Sway Lee and Slim Jimmy of Ray Shrummer, and also Tiana Taylor. As you can imagine, this was a star-studded event, and as much as the focus of the show was the clothes, the celebrity aspect also played a big role. And with rap music having deep roots in themes like luxury and excess, casting these rappers was just another way for Plein to further his ridiculous brand image as mentioned before. I mean, he even let 21 Savage walk with his double cup in hand, and if that isn't ridiculous for a runway show, then I don't know what is. Next, we had the late Lil Peep, who as his music was blowing going up, so was his image, which allowed him to model during the spring-summer 18 season. During this fashion week in Paris, Peep was casted for Vuitton's first runway show sporting a full leather look, and after this he was also casted by Marcelo Burlon. It's a shame that he passed away so early, because not only was his music career looking bright, but also his efforts in fashion were moving in the right direction, and I could imagine him doing some more work with Vuitton, for example, as his image did fit the brand really well. So rest in peace Peep, that's still a big loss for the culture, and it definitely hit me hard when it happened. Another artist that got a chance to debut on the runway was Offset, as he took the stage over at Jeremy Scott for spring summer 19. This was Offset's first official catwalk, as the Migos did walk the V-Files runway back in 2015, but this was more for dramatic effect and before the Migos were even really into fashion. Next we move into the menswear spring summer 19 season, as this was another turning point for fashion and music, and we could start this off with Sheck West for John Elliott. For John Elliott's spring summer 19 show, the designer casted Sheck West to walk his brightly styled Los Angeles runway, and this wasn't something new for the rapper, as before he was really invested in music, Sheck was an inspiring model who had been making noise in the fashion world. This came to an end when his life forced him in another direction, but after establishing himself as an artist, he was able to find himself back on the runway, and this time by making even more noise. In that same season, Brooklyn designer Paya Moss also casted Sheck West for his runway show, so he clearly had the same idea as John Elliott, but Moss didn't just stop with Sheck, as he also casted upcoming superstar Gunna to also bless his runway. Now Gunna isn't your traditional model, and you wouldn't expect to see him on the runway, but as this video is trying to show, is that rappers are being casted for the runway because of how closely music and fashion has become intertwined. So 10 years ago, you wouldn't see someone like Gunna on the runway, but in 2019, it's slowly becoming something that every designer wants to do, and that is put a rapper on their runway regardless of their physical features. A few seasons before that, Paya Moss also had Vic Mensa walk for them, so they're a brand that's been embracing rappers to walk their runway. Next, we had Louie Vuitton's spring summer 19 show, which was a big turning point for this model rapper phenomenon, as cultural leader Virgil Abloh took the reins at the luxury brand and was given creative control to cast whoever he wanted. So of course, with Virgil's ambition of moving the culture forward and making fashion more inclusive, he casted a number of upcoming and established artists to fill his first runway show for Louis Vuitton. Artists such as Kid Cudi, ASAP Nast and Theophilus London were seen walking down the runway, whilst newer artists such as Playboi Carti, Dev Hines of Blood Orange and Steve Lacy over the internet were also given a chance to walk for Louis Vuitton. And that wasn't it. Virgil also wanted to include UK culture in the show, so he did this by casting other up and coming artists from this side of the globe such as Octavian and Baka, whom are both up and coming artists coming out of London. Virgil didn't stop there, as he also took this same approach to his second runway show for Louis Vuitton and casted both English artists again for his fall winter 19 show, and also added Sheck West to the runway, giving the rapper slash model even more exposure in the modelling world. Now this was a big thing, as this wasn't just going on at any old label. This was Louis Vuitton, whom you can consider to be at the top of the luxury pyramid when it comes to fashion, so these castings were definitely a shake-up for the fashion world. Following this, Virgil also took the same approach at his own brand, Off-White, and casted Carti once again for his fall winter show, and also added Offset to the runway, giving him some more experience whilst also complementing the brand image with its heavy rapper appeal. And Offset also has close relations with Virgil and Off-White, so he was a good fit for the brand. During that same season, more brands added rappers to their catwalk resume, as upcoming Parisian brand Casablanca gave Gunna his second runway show, whilst upcoming London rapper Lancey 4 got casted for 3 shows during this season, being Astrid Anderson, A Cold Wall and Misbehave. Lancey had already previously walked for A Cold Wall and is another rapper with a slim and tall build, so is another rapper we may be seeing on the runway again. And luxury label Enfant's Richard Deprimer casted young and impressionable rapper Matt Ox to walk their runway, which was the biggest surprise out of this list, as the young rapper wasn't really someone that was on the fashion radar. But as fashion and music grows closer together, it makes sense for the rapper to grow interest in fashion as he grows older and even become exposed to brands such as Enfants. I'm sure we'll be seeing more rappers on the runway, as since Rocky walked for Hood Bayer to Matt Ox for Enfants, the frequency of rappers appearing on the runway has definitely increased, and I don't think it's going to be stopping here, so keep an eye out on the runway and see who you'll be spotting over the next few years. Which brings me to the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button, as it always helps and is much appreciated. And if you're new here and you're interested in hip hop and fashion, then you should also subscribe by clicking down over there, as I have some more videos like this on the way. Also, let me know down below which rappers you think will be blessing the runway in the near future, as I'm sure we'll be seeing some more rappers in the upcoming seasons. But that's all from me today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.